still hear it. Even now, weeks later, different state, different bed. I hear it. 3 knocks. Always 3. Always at 3:17 in the morning. I moved to Florida in June to get quiet. I figured a small rental house in a slow neighborhood. Nobody knowing my name, nobody calling. That would fix things. That's what I told myself. Quiet fixes things. What I didn't account for was the man next door. What I really didn't account for was what my neighbor Donna told me 6 days after I moved in. She said the man next door had been dead for 2 years. And whatever was knocking on my door every night at 3:17 wasn't asking for sugar. The house on Bellmore Lane was everything the listing promised. Small, private, month-to-month lease. The kind of place you go when your life is between drafts. I was 34 years old, recently divorced, and determined to be the most boring man in Florida. I brought 4 boxes, a French press, my case files. I didn't even bring photos. Donna Reyes, the property manager, met me the first morning to hand over the spare key. She had the kind of face that had decided years ago not to waste expressions on small things. She pointed to the house on the right, shuttered, paint peeling at the eaves. "Nobody in there," she said. "Hasn't been for a while. Don't worry about it." I didn't ask. I wasn't there to make friends with the neighborhood. I was there to get through the next 6 months without breaking anything. That first night, I slept better than I had in a year. The second night, I woke up at 3:17 a.m. 3 knocks. Slow, deliberate, like someone who knew exactly how long they'd been standing there. I didn't open it that first time. I told myself it was a mistake. Wrong house. A drunk, maybe. A delivery gone sideways. This was Florida. The logic of 3 a.m. had its own rules down here. But I stood in the hallway for 11 minutes. I counted. The figure on the other side of that frosted glass panel didn't knock again. Didn't move. Just stood there the way a person stands when they're absolutely certain they're in the right place. At 3:28, it was gone. No footsteps, no car, just gone. The next morning, I checked the porch. The welcome mat had been moved. Not thrown, not displaced by wind. Turned 90 degrees, precisely. I put it back. Told myself nothing. Third night, same time, same 3 knocks, same stillness through the glass. This time I almost opened the door. I don't know what stopped me. Maybe the part of your brain that's older than reason, the animal part, the part that knows the difference between a person knocking and something doing an impression of one. I went to Donna on day 6. I'd photographed the figure. Through the glass, you could make out the shape. Broad shoulders, older, standing the way someone stands when they've been standing in that spot their whole life. She looked at the photo for a long time. Longer than she should have needed to for "don't worry about it." "That house on your right," I said. "You said nobody's been in it for a while. How long?" She set my phone down, face down. 2 years, she said. "What happened to the resident?" She looked at me the way a doctor looks at you when they're deciding how much to say. "Gene Halpert," she said finally. "There was a gas explosion down the block. July, 2 years ago. They assumed he was inside. Never found him. Just his glasses, his wallet. They declared him deceased." "They assumed," I said. She didn't answer that. She slid my phone back across the counter without turning it over. "Keep your door locked," she said. "Don't answer it at night." My brother Nate came down that Friday. He was 17, and the kind of person who experienced most of life through a phone screen, which I'd always found irritating, and now found briefly comforting. He noticed the house next door immediately. "What's in there?" "Nothing," I said. "Looks like something." I told him the basics, kept it flat. He listened with that teenager half attention that means he's actually listening harder than usual. Then he said, "First night I got here, 3 nights ago, I heard the knocking. I figured it was pipes, old house." I looked at him. "You heard it?" "Yeah, 3 times. Really slow, like he mimicked it, knuckling his knee. Patient, unhurried." "Why didn't you tell me?" He shrugged. "You looked like you were finally sleeping. I didn't want to." He stopped. He opened his phone, found the video without me asking. He'd filmed the hallway that night. 3 minutes of dark. And at the 1:43 mark, the shadow through the glass, standing, still as furniture. We watched it twice without speaking.
Donna found me. Not at the office. In the parking lot of the gas station on Route 7. Like she'd been waiting. "I've been trying to decide what to tell you," she said. "And I keep landing on all of it." She'd reported Gene missing the morning after the explosion. Not because the authorities had. Because she knew him. He'd lived next door to the property for 11 years. He'd left his spare key with her. Not for entry. For when I'm not around, he'd said. They'd found his glasses in the rubble, his wallet, his wedding ring, the one he'd never taken off after his wife died. But not a single piece of him. "I told myself the fire was hot enough," Donna said. "That's what they told me. That's what I made myself believe." "But you don't anymore," I said. 3 weeks after they declared him dead, I can't. That night, I didn't sleep. I sat in the kitchen with the lights off and waited. 3:17 came like a fact. 3 knocks. The same patience in them. The same complete absence of urgency, which was somehow worse than urgency. Nate was in the spare room. I heard him stir. I walked to the door. I put my hand on the chain. And then, I don't know why, I cracked it open. Just an inch. Just the chain's length. He was standing on my porch. Gene Halpert looked like a man who had been outside for a very long time. Skin leathered. Eyes with the flat quality of someone who'd stopped calculating things the way the living calculate them. He didn't react when the door cracked. No jolt, no adjustment. As if he'd known the exact moment I would open it. He said my name. Marcus. I hadn't told him my name. I hadn't spoken to him. I'd never met him alive. I didn't make a decision. My body made it for me. I grabbed my keys and Nate's arm, and we were across the street in 30 seconds. Donna's office light was still on. It was past midnight. She was at her desk like she'd been waiting. When she saw our faces, she stood up. I told her what happened. Every word. She didn't interrupt once, which told me she'd been sitting here imagining exactly this conversation. "He said wrong door," she said when I finished. "Yes." She sat back down slowly. She pulled a folder from her bottom drawer. Old, creased at the corners. Gene Halpert's neighbor on his other side. Before I sealed the property, she called me. Said someone knocked on her door 3 nights after the explosion. Said it. Said wrong door when she opened it, then left. I stared at her. "He's been doing this since the explosion?" "I think he's been doing it since he died," she said. "I think whatever he is now, he's looking for something. And every door he knocks on, he realizes it's not the right one." "What door is he looking for?" She didn't answer, but her eyes moved to the window, to the house next door. Donna had the key. She'd kept it all 2 years, Gene's spare. She hadn't been able to give it to anyone, hadn't been able to go back inside. We went in at 2 a.m., which I understand is exactly the wrong decision. But decisions stop feeling wrong when the alternative is waiting for 3:17 in the dark. The house smelled like old construction and closed air, and something beneath that, something I couldn't name that I recognized anyway, the way you recognize a word in a language you've never studied. Donna moved through the rooms with the quiet authority of someone who'd been here in a different life. She stopped in the back bedroom. On the floor, against the baseboard, a door, a basement access panel, small, padlocked. The padlock had been opened from inside. "He came back here," she said, after the explosion. "He came back and he went down there." We looked at each other. Behind us, from the front of the house, 3 knocks on the inside of the front door. Gene Halpert was home.
We got out, I'll tell you that much. I don't remember the exact sequence of the next 20 minutes, only the running and Donna's keys and the sound of Nate breathing in the backseat of my car, and the fact that none of us spoke for a long time. Donna called someone the next morning. Not the police, or not only the police, someone who seemed to understand what she was describing without requiring much explanation. They sealed the house, proper this time, not month-to-month sealed, something more permanent. Gene Halpert's daughter drove up from Tampa and collected what was left inside. She didn't ask questions when Donna suggested she not come at night. I stayed another 3 weeks, because I'd paid for the month and because something in me needed to know whether it was over. The knocking stopped. For 18 days, nothing. No silhouette, no turned mat, no voice saying my name through a cracked door. I started sleeping again. Briefly, shallowly, but sleeping. On the 19th night, I woke up at 3:17. Habit, I told myself. Body clock, trauma response. I lay still and counted the seconds. Nothing came. I left Florida in September. Found a place in Raleigh. 9th floor. Buzzer entry. No front porch, no mat to be turned, no frosted glass for shadows to press against. I told myself I'd left it in Florida. I told Donna that before I went. She said, "I hope you're right." She didn't say she believed it. The apartment is quiet. The building smells like new carpet and someone else is cooking. There's a coffee shop downstairs. Everything is exactly as manageable as I built it to be. I sleep through the night, mostly. Except last Tuesday. I woke at 3:17. No knock, no noise, just woke, the way you wake when something has changed in the room. I lay still. In the gap beneath my door, the gap that faces the building's interior hallway, 9th floor, buzzer entry. Something slid through. A folded piece of paper. I've been staring at it for 4 days. It's still on the floor. I can't make myself pick it up. Because I already know what it says. I know because Gene Halpert told me himself, on my porch in Florida, 3 seconds before he disappeared into the dark. Wrong door. Which means somewhere, on some door that I don't know about, in some hallway I've never seen, he's still